Let's take a look at this ThinkStation by Lenovo P360 tiny workstation. It's got a 12th gen Intel i9 12900T vPro processor, 3.6 gigahertz, Windows 11 Pro 64-bit. It's got a built-in NVIDIA T1000 8GB graphics card, 64 gigs of RAM, two 32 gig cards at 4800 megahertz, DDR5 SODIMM cards. It's got a 1 terabyte SSD M2 PCIe SD or a storage card, and it comes with an Intel Wi-Fi 6E-AX211 and a Bluetooth 5.1. So it comes with a ton of ports. It's got a headphone mic combo port, USB-A, USB-A 3.2, USB-C 3.2. It's got a Kensington security lock, an HDMI port. It's got two USB-A 3.2s, a RJ45 network adapter, Wi-Fi antenna slot, a display port, also has discrete graphics card ports, so it's got about 4 of these. So I think you can have about 4, 5, 6 monitors attached to this device, up to 6. 1 display port, 1 HDMI, and 4 what they call discrete graphics card ports right here. The unit we're looking at is part number 30FA0024 US. It ships in a small box like this. Feels like it weighs about 5 pounds. And here are the specs. When you open up the top, the packaging looks like this. And here's the PC. It comes with a keyboard and a mouse. Just a basic USB keyboard, nothing special. Entry-level keyboard. And then inside this box you get a power cable. You get, I don't know if these are display ports, and those video card, that special video card slot cables. I believe is the Wi-Fi antenna, although it will work without this antenna attached. The power brick. It's a 230 watt. And then here's your basic USB mouse. And then some little connectors. I think this must be the attachment that you can attach to the back of the monitor, or maybe even the wall. And then here's some paperwork for the specs. So here's the PC itself. Feels very sturdy. You can hear all the ports, power, display, USB I think, another HDMI, USB, RJ45, Wi-Fi antenna goes here, and then 4 other display ports or video type ports, and air vent. USB, USB-C I believe, audio and mic port, on off button, vents. And what's cool about these is that they're very small, easy to transport, move around. Super powerful little computer. This has got 64 gigs of RAM with an i9 12th gen processor. This is a separate cable you have to buy. So this connects to this part of the PC. Let me see here. Connects like that, and then this part is an adapter that converts it to an HDMI, and you can connect your monitor to this. So you have to buy these cables separately. You should be able to have up to 4, 5, 6 monitors running on this PC. Because it's an i9 12th gen, it should have plenty of power. Let's open this guy up and take a look at the inside. So they just use standard screws, so you should be able to use any standard screwdriver. You just remove the center screw and the top, the casing should just come off. Like that. There it goes, like that. And the top just comes off like that. And now we're looking at the inside. Got your CPU fan, so I'm going to assume the CPU is underneath this. So this should be the hard drive that looks like a memory card. I think the SODIMM memory cards are underneath this. And then you can remove it by, I think, unscrewing these 2 screws. And I think this is for the CPU if you want to take a look at the CPU. And I don't want to do this today. Now it comes with exactly the way I want it. 1 terabyte of hard disk space. But it's the PCIe, and then it's got the 64 gigs of RAM. So it's got plenty of, oh shoot, what was that? Okay, don't want to break anything. It is exactly the way I want it. That way I don't have to really mess with it. But you can upgrade it. I don't know if there's an extra slot to expand the hard drive. You may have to just take this out. I don't see anything in there, so I'm not sure if there's a second slot in there. Now this guy comes with Windows 11, which the last time I used it was absolutely terrible. So I plan on downgrading it to Windows 10 Pro. But I'll try out the new Windows 11 to see if there's been any changes since the last time I tested it, which was about 6 months or 8 months ago. And I just absolutely hated it. Why they make it that way, why they design it in that manner, where it's just completely closed, unconfigurable, absolutely just unusable. I'm not sure who the designers of Windows 11 are, but it's just absolutely terrible. This does come with a USB-C port, so I'm curious if you could actually power this unit using a USB power and then also run video expansion from this USB-C. I don't know if you can. Maybe. Although you don't need to because it's got enough slots in the back. But it would be cool if you could run everything off this USB-C. That way it's easy to plug and remove in case you want to move it to another location. All you gotta do is unplug one thing and it's got the power, it's got the USB and everything all into one port instead of unplugging multiple ports. But I don't know if it'll do that. I can test it though. Here's a USB power cable that I use to power my laptop. I'm going to try plugging it into this and see if it will power it on. But no, it doesn't power it on. So I guess you can't use USB power. Here's a size comparison of the new Lenovo tiny Workstation P360 compared to a 17-inch LG laptop. Yeah, it is heavier, of course, because it's super light. The LGs are super light, the grams. A suggestion I would give, if you own one of these, if you choose to buy one of these, which are great, is to dust them off. Open up the lids and blow out the dust every couple of months, because it's going to be critical to keep these things running cool. And maybe you might even want to consider buying an additional fan that you can mount on top of this to keep the unit extra cool, because these are extremely small and everything is very compact.